Hi, just me again. Been a wee while, but I'm in Dunville Park, named after Lord Dunville, and just there is the junction of Falls, Springfield and Grosvenor Roads. And used to come down here when I was a child. So who remembers this? There you just see between the trees the King Edward building at the Royal Victoria Hospital. Originally, it's one of the oldest buildings in Belfast. Not sure how old it is, but I'm told that it was originally an asylum, as they called them in them days. And also told that first building in the world to have air conditioning, and you can still see it down in the basement. And that was later replicated and upgraded, and was used actually the same system in the Empire State Building in New York. You need to check that. You need to check a few things in this video, because that's why I say do you remember, because these are my memories, what people have told me. And I remember being in this park 60 years ago with my granda, and my granda lived just beyond them houses. There's a big fountain, which in them days wasn't fenced off. You used to climb up it. If children tried to do that now, parents would be horrified. And who remembers where there's a pitch now, down in the corner there, was what was called the Witch's Hat. A big, can't even describe it, was just a big hanging structure that you got on that swung all over the place. And Google it. I used to climb up the top of it. My grandma used to watch me and my brothers and sisters, and like, it was higher than that fountain. No, it was quite a climb. My granny and granda lived just behind them houses there in the next street, Lower Clonard Street. And I remember going in there and helping my granny turn the mangle in the backyard to wring out the clothes after they were washed. The kitchen was not much bigger than a cupboard, and a huge sink took up most of it, which my granny called the jaw box. Now my granny called it the jaw box too. And a big open fire. We 2-bedroom house, and in those days you had your backyard, no bathroom, no landing. The stairs went straight up into the bedroom. Imagine that. In the background you see, hopefully, the twin spires. Right behind the fountain, that's the twin spires of St. Peter's, and Divis Flats peeping up in between. The sort of square top is Divis Flats at the bottom of Divis Street. And oh right, didn't mean to do. We're in the Lower Wack, as it was called, and quite an historic place in the modern day, coming up into the 1970s, I think it was. And just there where the shops are is where the curfew was broken. Google false curfew and you'll see the big march coming down and the curfew being broken. Soldiers all over the place, quite a lot, too much to go through happened down this area, and quite a lot of people lost their lives. Just beyond that, over there, we see, if we can see it, yeah, just beside there is Clonard Street, just about a couple of hundred yards, maybe 300-400 yards up, Clonard Monastery. And further down the road, the Falls Baths. And it was actually, in those days, though there was a swimming pool, there was actually private bath cubicles in it, and I remember Granda going round, and he said, I'm way round from a bath, and he'd be way round with his towel and his stuff, and people actually went to the falls baths to have an actual bath, not to have a swim. And so we'll now move on down. I don't know if you can see there the top of the Harland and Wolff cranes, just along the top of the, beside that lamppost there. So I'll now do the second bit further down the road, but for anybody who came from down this way, the area generally known as Aloni, which was Leeson Street, and very close to the town. I'm also told that when Belfast was first built, that the Grosvenor Road was one of the only 2 or 3 roads into the town, and up in the corner of the park there was a toll booth where the merchants bringing their wares in had to pay a toll to be allowed on down. So, right, we'll go down the road, film another wee bit, and hit